What's up, guys? Captain Nick here, and we are actually doing the rings, the head gasket rings on this Evinrude 150. So I have a couple pictures I'll post up. But basically, when the guy hit a sandbar and he overheated his motor. I don't know if you saw that because I had some notification came up. So a guy overheated his motor, and these are head gasket rings. So basically, they're not really gaskets. They're O-rings. So these are the old ones. This is the new ones. And I'm doing everything on the starboard side of the motor, starboard bank. So problem is, he had no compression. He had like 20 psi, 90 and 90. This ring was actually cracked. This ring was completely gone. This one was fine. So when you're putting them back together, one, you have to use an RTV around all the water passages holes. But also you need one of these. This is a torque wrench, and this will tell you how many inch pounds. So this calls between 200 and 220. So let me show you how this works. And you want to do them in a pattern. If you ever look, it'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You have to do it in that pattern. And then you go back again and make sure it's torqued right, and then you run it for a little bit and then make sure that it's torqued right again after it's warmed up. So check this out. Ready? So when you do this, I think I just did this one, but okay, so I just did number 5. So number 6. So tighten it and then watch. Hold on, ready? You're gonna hear it click in a second. Listen. Oh, see that? Once it makes that click, that means it's at the correct spec, which is 210. What's up, guys? So I started a video yesterday on doing the head gasket O-rings on a Johnson Evinrude 60 degree 175 motor. That motor, so this was kind of like a Hail Mary toss, because the guy overheated it, and if you got lucky and didn't fry a ring, meaning a piston ring or rings, sometimes you can get away with pulling the heads off, replacing the O-rings, which are rubber rings. They're not piston rings, a little bit different application. And then you put them back on, and hopefully, if you lost compression and it didn't do too much damage, or it wasn't too heated up, by replacing those O-rings, you'll gain your compression back and you have a good motor. Unfortunately, that was not the case. When I pulled the heads off, I kind of had that feeling, because on the second cylinder in the series, you can see that there was metal bouncing around in the cylinder. It scored the walls. There was a lot of play in the actual piston sitting within the cylinder itself. And then if you look at the cylinder head, I'm going to put some pictures up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. You'll see that there was like an indentation. So what happened was one of the rings probably broke loose or broke apart, and it was hitting, the piston was smacking into the cylinder head, and that's it. So he got about 45, 50 psi in that cylinder. Funny enough, the other two cylinders, they were at like 90. Now they're at like 105, 105, which is where they should be. Compared to the rest of the motor, but this motor is going to need a tear down and a full, probably, some guys say you can hone out the cylinder, change the rings on the one, and you can, but if you're going to do it, you might as well tear the whole thing apart and replace all the pistons, the rings, and do a full rebuild on it. At that point, with this motor, I personally, if it was an over the winter project, I would do it on my own, but for a customer to spend $4,000 or $5,000, he's better off buying a reman power head and swapping everything over. So, unfortunately, I got to break the news to him, but that's kind of what happens. You got to be careful when you're overheating these motors. Some people just rev because they're stuck on a sandbar, not realizing they're not sending any any water up through the whole water head system, and you wind up frying a ring. Anyway, take a look, check out some of the pictures, and then I'll let you know which way we go with it.